Have you ever wondered what the hell it takes to get one of these things? The antimatter warp drive. Not to mention the regenerative shields or any of this super endgame voidium and progenitor based technology. Well, stick around and I'll tell you how. Hello and welcome back to Empyrion Galactic Survival, running the Reforged Eden 1 scenario. Now in today's video we're going to be looking to try and acquire ourselves an antimatter warp drive, okay? This is this big stopper down here. This is a huge range and an even huger, if that's even a word, cost. You can see the cost there. It's 500 drone processors, 100 fragments of progenitor technology, platinum, gold, dysprosium, and so on and so forth. And of course, we also need to be able to build the antimatter tank. That's pretty much the only reason to get it. That's another 100 fragments of progenitor tech there. And in order to get some things like the magnetic plates there, we do need to go mining on magnesite on really horrible planets. There's another resource there called dark matter pods. Dark matter pods are these guys up here, and these require voidium, 30 to be precise, which means we're going to need a voidium drill, which is another 100 technology fragment. Anyway, so we're going to go through how to get those fragments soon, the dark matter containers and so on and so forth. There's a whole chicken and the egg thing going on around here. It's insane. But first, we're going to go and get these technology fragments. Now, if you missed my last live stream of Breaking Bad in Reforged Eden 1 here, we managed to get ourselves a translation key. That's this thing here, which is what we're going to need in the area of space that we're going to go to. I do recommend if you go back and watch that stream, obviously it's 4 hours long, so feel free to skim, but it is quite important getting this key. You're going to need it. You also need to open this, the ancient gate, and this is the ancient progenitor decay gate. It is all the way up here in the middle of nowhere. So you start all the way down here somewhere, basically between the throne and the forge. In fact, you can see the starting system's name right there. I'm way off. So we are all the way over here, and we're on the very, very, very edge of the galaxy. And just over there is a satellite galaxy called Decay. And this is where we need to go in order to get ancient progenitor fragments. We need to go over here. But in order to open this pathway up, this like little warp gate that I'm in front of here, we need to also visit the core worlds. Now, if you search the galaxy for the word core, you should see 1 through to well, 9 it seems. I don't know where 2, 3, 4, and 5 have gone, but there we go. Anyway, you need to go around the galaxy and open the core systems, but you can only do that once you have this key. And you can only get that key by studying the object 82 over here in the rogue starting system. So over the starting systems is rogue system. There it is. You can visit this straight away and have a look at object 82 here. Now when you fly to object 82, there's 4 giant doors that you can't open, but each one gives you a little clue, and you basically have to go around the galaxy finding 4 specific systems, which give you basically lots of data fragments. You take that to UCH when you got 100 and you get a key. Once you've got a key, you can then activate the core worlds and ultimately this gate. You can then go into your PDA and start the Progenitors Chapter 1, which will then give you the mission that I'm currently on. So you kind of all caught up in a very, very crappy kind of descriptive way. But like I said, all the details are in that stream if you want to skim through. Just activating that mission and going through the gate gives you 5 tech fragments, which is nice. The only problem with going through this gate is it dumps you in the middle of space. Okay, so you're going to need a ship on the other side, and you're going to need some way of powering that ship and being somewhat self-sufficient once you're over there. So all your time here on the Andromeda side of the galaxy, you want to spend filling up your factory with resources so that you can spawn in a useful capital vessel where you can basically eat and mine and so on and so forth freely without having to go back through the gate over and over and over again. To that effect, I've gone and got myself 2 blueprints here an Lycos, which is actually a premium Patreon reward ship that I've modified as a little cheap miner. And the Sky Miner, of course, which is a mining SV, which we're going to need once we're down on planet to get any kind of resources and stuff like that. Between the two of them, it should be more than enough for exploring and farming the Decay Galaxy. So with those two in place, the last thing we need to do is actually equip ourselves to carry lots and lots of stuff, because we're going to need to carry over some basic resources, some food, seeds for a farm, yada 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 yada, loads of stuff, ammunition, fuel, pentaxid, specifically pentaxid. So what you're going to need as well, and you can find these through traders and as mission rewards and loot and so on and so forth, are transportation. Now I've got myself some rather nice armor here, which has got nice 4 slots. You know, 1, 2, and 3 with an EVA boost. And this means that we now have a carrying capacity of 1,650 volume, which is going to enable us to carry some basic resources over. So we can power the ship and yada yada yada, move it and stuff. So we'll start with some fuel. I can carry over 260 fuel. 65 should be enough to get us going. A bunch of oxygen, 10 will be enough to get us going, and the rest will be pentaxid, 320. Not great, but there we go. This is just a first run through the gate, so we're going to be doing this back and forth quite a bit just to get our ship up and running on the other side with fuel, ammo, and then we're going to get the rest of the resources actually here. There we go, it's the Lycos. It's like I say, it's a Patreon reward ship. It's just a starter vessel. It's nice and cheap, and I've equipped it with 4 laser drills, flak turret. There's a heavy gat underneath there. There's another gat. I think that's just a regular one, retractable under there. So it's got some decent drone defense and the ability to shoot down. Not that there's much combat or action here in progenitor space at all. But there we go. Right, so what we're going to do is we're going to put some fuel. I'm not going to put all of it in here because I want to put some in the Sky Miner as well. So we start with a bit of fuel. 26%. Again, same thing. Save 2 for the Sky Miner. And we'll save like 80 for the Sky Miner. There we go. Alright, so let's get the Sky Miner in as well. There we go. There it is. So we've got our 2 ships. And these 2 are going to basically enable us to become self-sufficient out here in the Decay cluster. We're going to be mining lots of planets. Here we go. All these planets we're just going to go to, because each planet we go to here will have a bunch of progenitor fragments and stuff on them. So we need to go to them anyway. Most of them are D-type suns. Everything's dead. Nothing's alive. It's a barren wasteland. But if you go down on Ardharth, the example here, there'll be a bunch of POIs there. We'll come to that in a minute, where we get our fragments from. There'll also be deposits there where we can mine, get some mining done. So let's park the Sky Miner in here. Park it inside. I could park it on the roof, I suppose, but I'll park it inside because it's the only vehicle we've got out here. Here we are. Okay, so this is the Lycos. It's not on the workshop, like I say. Patreon reward ship. It's available on my Discord for patrons and supporters. But it is a pretty basic ship. Like, it's just a starter. We've got a constructor in there. We've got a nice big hangar bay, some storage, basic ammo boxes, and then upstairs we've got ourselves a 9-plot garden, full medical, fridge, and some niceties and things like that. And there's the bridge, and so on and so forth. So yeah, nothing special about it really. It's just a decent little starter. It will do. It will do. The great thing about the Lycos is it's covered in solar panels, so it can keep the fridge running indefinitely, basically without any fuel. Okay, so now begins the task of shipping everything to and fro through the gate. Some basic resources, more fuel, more promethium, pentaxid, that sort of stuff, and some ammunition for the ship. So if we do get attacked by drones, we can defend ourselves. Don't worry, I'm going to skip this bit. Anyway, now once you've got your ship on the other side sorted, you can actually do the little questy that comes with it. And it's just a base starter, a generator. Yeah, solar things don't count as generators. Damn it, I'm going to need to build a generator. Anyway, a generator. There we go. a fuel tank. There we go. And an antenna, which, there we go. And that counts as a little kind of communication relay, I suppose. So then your next instructions is to land on a planet and download the progenitor interface data. And as the text there is explaining, you will need that translation key. Damn it, I left that on my ship. I need to go back through the gate and get it. Anyway, you're done with this thing now, so we can just rip it back up again. Always clean up after yourselves, guys. Take your rubbish home. With translation key in hand, we can now warp to one of the nearest systems. So I've chosen Beluga. I don't know why, but here we are. Now, one of the first things you'll probably want to do is go around and actually do some mining. If by some miracle you can get rich mining lasers over here, you can get one of the rich ores. But there's ice in orbit. There's generally all the other resources, various asteroids and stuff in orbit. Use the mining drills on the CV and go get yourself some supplies so that you can be self-sufficient out here. However, for the purpose of this video, first thing I'm going to do is go down to this planet here. Now, I should say that progenitor space is being reworked for Reforged Eden 2. So this is probably the last time that we're going to be seeing progenitor space in its current form, or at least certainly the way you get to it in its current form anyway. The developer of Reforged Eden is redoing the gate. Now, if I'm correct, we will be able to fly our ships to the other side through like a giant Stargate type thing in Reforged 2, which is going to help, because the whole going through and having to respawn a ship and lug everything through with transporter boost things is laborious, tedious, boring, and dull, but it does set you up nicely for the laborious, tedious, and dull grind that awaits you here in progenitor space. We're heading towards this progenitor interface over here because that's what our objective is. But as you can see, there are dozens of various POIs here. Now, most of them are benign. Most of them have nothing in them. But there are some that have progenitor tech fragments. We just need to find those some. But first of all, let's do this little progenitor interface thing. This is where we're going to need a translation key. And I believe it's a little bit of a puzzle that we have to figure out. Let's get down there and do it. Here we are. Okay, so I parked my ship very close. Oh, let's turn its guns on. And probably its shields, actually. We're going to probably need those guns in a minute. And I've got my trusty DC-17 here. It's very important that you stay armed. Now then, in the center column here is a key. Each column says the same thing. 1 equals a normal circle, 2, so on and so forth. You can see this, right? A bit of a memory game. You have to basically... Sorry, I didn't mean to do that. I wanted to use the scope. You have to kind of remember what number each circle represents, right? Because when we go to each of these pillars out here, we'll see a switch here, and basically the key for that switch. It all requires a lock code. So for this one, we've got a whole circle. Now, having a scope weapon allows you to just quickly zoom back in. That is a terrible scope. That one's not great either. Anyway, I think it's 5-2 for the first 2 letters. A hollow circle is 1, and a half circle filled at the bottom is 8. 5218. Bingo. Okay, we just have to do that on all of the pillars here, and as you can see, when you flip it up, you get an armored giga, and the armored giga drops tech fragments. Yay! Hello. Anyway, that's why I parked the ship really close. Having a scope is useful, as you can see. So let's do the rest of these, shall we? 1287. Four, 3, 2, 1. Most guys don't seem to be able to actually path around a pillar, you know. Some progenitor tech, huh? We really want this in our ship? It's dumb as hell. Oh well. Last one then. 6647. There we go. And when you do flip that last switch, you hear a little explosion. And that basically means we can now get onto the top of this thing, I believe. Oh no, it's right on the top of this thing. It's all the way up there. So now we need an SV. Or we can hover the ship there, I suppose. So again, make sure you got your translation key in hand. And then at the top of this thing, we talk to the Watcher. Bunch of cryptic nonsense. And then we're instructed to translate the rest to UCH command. Now, the next method of getting some tech fragments is there are 3 different POIs that all give tech fragments. The first one you should look for is an obelisk. Somewhere on the obelisk is a crack. Like the Sky Miner here, you can hover it next to the crack. Get the door as close as possible. And then grab the tech fragments. And that's right. You get a whopping 3. To put that in the context of getting ourselves an antimatter warp drive, we're going to need 315 fragments. That's enough to get the voidium drill, an antimatter tank, the warp drive, and a regenerative shield, which I'll agree is kind of optional, but it's really nice. Yeah, but that's the main thing that we need. 315. I suppose you could take 50 off of that total if you don't want to bother with the shields. So, getting 3 out of a single obelisk that took however much time it took to fly to the planet, fly down to the planet, find the obelisk, fly up to the obelisk, find the crack, fly up to the crack, grab the 3 fragments, and then go off and do that all again to find another 3 fragments. Yeah, you can see why this particular part of the game is one of the most hated, dreaded, laborious, tedious, long-winded, and grindy as F parts of the game. However, this is endgame content, and that's what you have to do if you want to get the absolute best tech available in the game. The other structure that you can get tech fragments in is the ring here, and you can get lucky like this and find a whole field of obelisks and rings, and oh look, another one that holds tech fragments actually, that weird floating sphere thing. You can get lucky like this and find a whole field of it, and you can just crack through, and this will probably net me, I don't know, close to sort of 50, 60 odd tech fragments this lot, so it can be reasonable at times, I suppose, but yeah, you're going to be here and you're going to be hating your life for a while. However, like I said, Rivian is working on redoing the whole progenitor space stuff, so maybe we'll see a nice, more fun variant of this grind in Reforged Eden 2 at some point. For now, though, this is what we got. This is what we got, and it's probably going to be in Reforged Eden 2, even with a new style entrance for a while. So these rings are tricky. As you can see, this one is floating off the ground. You do get ones that don't float off the ground. We are looking for a way in, and there is usually a hole in the bottom of this ring somewhere, and it's really difficult to spot, but I think I just found it. It's over there on the right, I believe. Let me see if I can zoom in on that. It looks like it. Yep, that's it right there. Really difficult to spot because the entire thing is just jet black. Really difficult. Daylight helps, but that's not always available. Anyway, so we line the ship up with that and hope it hovers. If it doesn't, we can always fall out. But each ring has got a hole in it. It looks like it's the same place all the way up, so that helps as well. We'll position the ship here and we'll basically command it to do a hover, and it will ignore us and slowly oh my god. What the oh my lord. Thank you very much, Empyrion. Awesome, that's great, thanks. I suppose this is an opportunity to show you another tip. Okay, so if you get knocked out of your ship while it's in the air like that, you can go into the registry here, find your ship by filtering capital vessels. Up here, there's the Exia Lycos, and you just power it off, and down it comes. Yeah. Okay. And then you can do the same to power it on, or just go into it and press Y. You know. There we go. Anyway, once you've got into position, blow a ring, and if these things are on the ground, it's so much easier. Obviously, you want to just jump into here, And you'll see one of the best well-lit POIs and textured POIs you've ever seen. Unfortunately, what we have to do now is just simply circumnavigate this ring in the inside, and every now and again, we should see a loot container. And night vision really helps with this, by the way. There we go. They light up like beacons. They're so light. Oh, are you serious right now? It's just gonna give me an ancient relic. Great, thanks. That's what I always wanted. But yeah, night vision is absolutely vital, because otherwise this stuff would be invisible. Near invisible, at least anyway. That's without night vision on. I suppose there's a bit of a light coming out of it, but yeah. It really shines with night vision. Anyway, you just need to rinse and repeat for each ring. And sometimes you get your tech fragments, sometimes it's this crap. Sometimes you just turn left and it's right there. Other times it's the opposite side of the ring. Yada, 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 yada. Basically, you just head in, turn left, and head all the way around, and keep an eye out for glowies. So with each ring, there's at least one loot container and one box with stuff in it. And that took, 10-15 minutes, I suppose. But that's 14 fragments, 3 ancient relics, and 3 technical artifacts, which I suppose are quite valuable and give you a bit of money. But in that time, doing that mission, 1 obelisk and 1 ring platform, we've got ourselves 24 tech fragments. Yeah, only 326 to go. Okay, so the last building type that I wanted to show you, now that there's basically no light left, is I've lost it. Is it the other side? The floating sphere thing. Actually, probably one of the easiest, or the I really lost it. Hell is it? The easiest of the progenitor structures. There it is. The problem is, when it's dark, it's kind of black, and all these structures, like the main defining feature of all these structures, is that they're black, and you can't see them. Anyway, insert yourself into the center of the sphere thing, and if you can try and get I can't see shit. Okay, there we go. Sort of. You want to get yourself directly underneath it. Yeah, there we go. Now, lift the ship right up to the tippity top. I don't know if can't remember. Let's find out. Now, if your ship does what mine does, and you get out of the pilot seat and it starts wibbly wobbling like that, just get into a passenger seat. It should stop it from falling, and it should hover. Should being the operative word. Okay, so drone, night vision again. There you go. There's the hole right there, and that's it. That's it. You just have to get up in that. Insert yourself, penetrate the sphere, grab your tech fragments, and say thank you very much. See you later. Bye. Like I said, that one's the easiest. So if you see those ones, go for it. Because yeah, the other ones all suck. Anyway. There we go. That's the 3 structures: the obelisk, the rings, and the sphere. Those are the 3 structures that will get you and net you tech fragments. Okay, you can also get tech fragments from completing the Dyson Sphere quest, but I'm not going to go into that right now because that is going to be an insane amount of grind to get a combat ship in here worthy of that without, a warp drive. Okay, so that's it. Now starts the grind. You basically do rinse and repeat. But like I said, don't forget to go and get yourselves some resources. Get yourself self-sufficient. You are going to be spending a long time here doing this over and over and over again, and it's going to consume a huge amount of fuel. It's going to consume a huge amount of oxygen and patience and your life. Am I making this sound any less appealing? I'm sorry, Revian. If you are watching, I apologize, but yeah, well, you know. Anyway, I'm going to go off now and wish for other life choices. And I'll see you guys when I've got enough tech fragments to proceed with the next phase of getting a warp drive. Anyway, once you have all of the progenitor tech fragments, you'll probably want to head back home and get those tech fragments home. Now, on the way, I'm going to be looking for the next thing that we need, which is voidium. We've got quite a long trip back home, so may as well use it. We've got 692 light years still to go. And I found a black desert planet. Now, black desert planets are pretty accessible. They'll generally be around kind of hotter suns, and they should have some small amount of voidium deposits on them because, well, they've got this entire void POI nonsense going on here. So you're going to have a little search around, hopefully find some void deposit, voidium. While you're searching as well, you can go ahead and unlock, assuming you've got the unlock points, of course, because you will need 3,500 just to unlock the stuff for all the shield generators and whatnot. But go ahead and unlock the voidium extractor, the first thing that you're going to be able to get. It's going to give you a really low yield of voidium, but it's needed for the next thing, which you should now also be able to get if, you know, assuming you've got the plasma coils and the focusing lenses and stuff like that. Then the last one you will need to have mined voidium to get, because you need the 10 dark matter containers. All right, so if you can get the first two, that's great. I have unfortunately only got the resources in the ship at the moment to get the first one, but there I've just located voidium shards down and left. There they are. We're going to go ahead and pick those up with voidium extractor in hand. Before I just finished that, I just remembered I need to connect to a container with an adequate space and then extract the voidium, because voidium is hella heavy. Okay, that's 100 tons right there. Boom. And that just gets us 1 voidium. Okay, so let's go ahead and get the other 2 as well. We're gonna have to do this a few times, get enough voidium to make our first dark matter pod. But you get 100 Xeno with that as well, and diamonds, which are forever. The other voidium things that you can find on a black desert planet like this are voidium formations. These are obviously much larger and can yield much more voidium. However, unfortunately, I've still got the voidium extractor, which is only going to net me 1. Hang on a second. It's not going to let me have this at all. I thought these little ones on the outside were shards, but apparently not. It looks like I'm going to need the next one up. Yep. The voidium extractor. Unfortunately, I don't have the silver powder on my ship here to do that right now. So it looks like I'm going to head home where I've got the bulk of my resources and I can get that larger voidium extractor. But yeah, you want to move from this little guy to this guy as quickly as possible, and from that guy to that guy as quickly as possible. So that you can get higher yields of voidium and it's not quite so grindy. But black desert planets are only one of the planet types you can find voidium on. You can also get voidium on midnight planets, lava, hell planets have quite high amounts of it. Black desert ones here probably the easiest to land on and get an initial little amount of voidium, but it's probably got the least amount of voidium on them. This one in particular is only a medium planet as well. So these 2 void shards and deposits that I found here, there's probably maybe only 1 more on this planet and then it's done. Okay, so I've come home. I'm going to now put my voidium extractor here in the input box. And we're going to talk to this large constructor here. It's output 2 small arms and search void. And there we go. We can make the advanced. Now with this, we can harvest voidium crystals. Okay, it's one of voidium shards. Once we get the dark matter containers, and by the looks of it, a few more diamonds, and an enhanced laser drill, which I am yet to loot. That's how crazy that is. I haven't even found an enhanced laser drill. I might have to buy one off another player. It looks like we can get the voidium drill, which will give us the largest amount of yield from the voidium crystals. We're going to need that to, of course, create the antimatter warp drive. Ignore that noise outside. That's just the Xerax. But that is going to cost us quite a lot. 8 dark matter pods. Not to mention the platinum. You're going to have to go and mine some platinum. Right, I just need to make sure that these Xerax are dealt with, and then we'll get back to it. Now that we do have the progenitor tech fragments here at base, though, it looks like I can make the antimatter tank. This is extremely useful because it means we can fill up our pentaxid tank with a huge amount of pentaxid now and not have to refill it so often. I'm going to go ahead and get that as well. That leaves the warp drive. Now we have everything we need in order to get this. We've got Erestrum Zirconium, Platinum. I've done a video before on where to find Platinum, so check that out as well if you're not sure where to get that. We've got the tech fragments, we've got the drone processors, we just need those dark matter pods. And even though we don't have the Voidium drill, we can still get 8 dark matter pods with the drill we have. So, mining Voidium with our new drill. Wait, what? Oh, there we go. I had to right-click to get that. But there we go. We're only getting 1 Voidium out of these as well, but at least we're getting something. And then that one, you have to left-click. And that gets 5 Voidium. Alright, there we go. So we managed to get 8 Voidium from that one. There's another one over there. And there we go. With the extractor, we can get the whole formations. And these formations will regenerate on a multiplayer server like this one. So you can absolutely rinse and repeat over the course of whatever the regeneration cycle is. I'm going to go about and try and find as many black desert planets like this as I can in the local area. This one is actually right next to my home planet of Ivoth, so that worked out quite nicely. That's a pummel desert. I don't think there's any Voidium on Lava Nascent, but I could be wrong. Like I said before, I think there's black desert, hell planets, lava planets, midnight planets, and so on and so forth. Now, I have gone through, as I've been playing, and marking out things like hell planets. There's one over here. There's another one over here. So, you know, they are a little bit further out, and hopefully I can find ones a little closer to home, because ultimately when I get this Voidium, I want to get it home where I know I've got silver and gold and platinum and stuff like that, and well, I'm going to need to go out and get more, but we've already covered that, so I'll go and do that as well. Lots of mining, lots of traveling, but there we go. That's how we get everything, and obviously the top-notch Voidium drill will net us even more Voidium from these formations than what this thing is doing, which will speed up the grind. So once you have done that sort of grind and you've managed to get all the resources, the platinum, the silver, the Voidium, of course, you then need to convert it all into, like I say, you need to convert it all into the dark matter pods. Forgive me. These guys here. It's like I'm finally out of resources to make plasma coils. Wonder what it is. Is probably silver again. Anyway, the point is, once you've converted it into dark matter pods and you've got enough, you can then finally make your antimatter warp drive. It will take 8,000 zirconium and Erestrum ingots, 1,000 gold ingots, which is no problem. Genet fragments we got, the drone parts we got, and now we've got 8 dark matter pods. We can craft our antimatter warp drive. Let's put that in locks and devices, along with our antimatter pentaxid tank, of course. There it is. So the next job is getting our regenerative shield, which takes the entropic plasma cells. That requires 3 more dark matter pods. So we're going to have to go out and get more Voidium. I think I've got 10 in here still. But anyway, there we have it. The antimatter warp drive. Bingo. That, ladies and gentlemen, is how you get an antimatter warp drive. Do bear in mind that that thing is 250,000 CPU to fit. So, we're going to need another couple of these as well. Yes, we'll get them going. And like I said, that is probably the last time that we're going to be seeing progenitor space in the sort of configuration that it currently is. I have 187 fragments left, so we can definitely use that to get the remaining of the components that we want there. But that is pretty much the last of the really good endgame stuff we now have, other than the augmented armor, which I suppose we can go into next if we wanted to. That requires dark matter containers and progenitor technology fragments as well. And I suppose if you do really want to walk around on a hell planet in your pajamas, then the thermal augment is what you're gonna want, which is 1,000 heat protection. Interestingly, there are POIs down on hell planets that I've never run before, actually. So I might look into that. If I've got enough dark matter containers left over, well, probably not, because they're stupidly expensive. But there we go. Anyway, ladies and gents, I do hope you've enjoyed this episode and how to get your warp drive, your antimatter warp drive. Let me know if I missed anything. I don't think I did, but it's been such a difficult recording and editing this thing together. My brain is an absolute mess, so I apologize if I missed something, but that's pretty much it. Anyway, like I said, I have covered how to get silver and platinum before, so make sure you check out that video if you're not sure about how to do that. Otherwise, I hope you found this useful and maybe even slightly entertaining. Thank you very much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you next time. Until then, take care. Bye-bye.